What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's Face Man. I know it's been a while. I just wanted to comment on something that happened pretty recently regarding the subway shooting in New York City, in Brooklyn, New York. I think it was the 33rd Street station on the DNR. It's southern Brooklyn around Sunset Park. When I used to live in New York City, that used to be part of my commute. I used to ride down there all the time. I most recently had a job like in Bay Ridge. The office was in Bay Ridge, so you know, whenever they needed me at the office, sometimes I would take the train down there instead of driving, and I would pass through that station, and other reasons too. I've gone through that station. I mean, I've been all throughout the MTA, uh, across the MTA map. When I was a New York City resident, I was born and raised there, so I'm very familiar with the MTA and how things seem to work when it comes to that. But let's get to this shooting event. So most of you have probably heard this guy, Frank James, or whatever the hell his name is. He's a 55-year-old black guy, who was posting some videos on YouTube. And a few days ago, he is suspected, alleged to have shot 10 people, injured them. I don't believe there's been any deaths as a result, um, which is odd. That's the first kind of odd thing in a list of odd things we kind of can jump right into. You know, if you've ever been in a crowded MTA train car, you know that you're pretty much surrounded by people. So the idea that he wasn't actually able to kill anybody out of 33 rounds, that's a little weird, but it seemed like he threw a smoke grenade or something like that. Maybe he threw it first and then started shooting. Some people are speculating so that maybe he didn't really see his targets that effectively. Another odd part of the story was the number of shots that he fired, which was 33 shots, which to most people was probably meaningless. But if you understand like occult numerology, things like that, if you've ever researched any of that, the number 33 pops up quite a bit. And there's other kinds of numbers like 323, which is associated with the Skull and Bone Society. So 33 is a significant number. And sometimes when there is sort of like I guess you could say a hidden message that is shown to the public, some people speculate maybe that's, communication between, these shadowy entities or whatever. But I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole with that. I just want to stick to the story. So he made a lot of YouTube videos, and they've been scrubbed off of YouTube. Probably now there's just you'll find a re-upload or two. But he had like maybe 12 videos at least. I only was able to watch a couple last night before they took it down. So I watched this video, born in an insane asylum, and this other video, domestic averages. So in total, it was like 2 hours of him ranting. I think I have some kind of understanding of where he's coming from. And if you saw all the comments underneath those videos when they were up on his original channel, a lot of people were, saying he's like raving like a lunatic, or, he's jumping from topic to topic. He's not, that he's incoherent. And to me, that wasn't the case. He was drinking while doing the video, and he, in one of the videos, he even showed the kind of liquor that he drinks, which is like some kind of cheap Jamaican rum that tastes like gasoline. He was saying he had to drink water to wash down the gasoline taste. Um, so it's possible that he was maybe drunk while recording these videos, and it's possible he might be some kind of alcoholic. I mean, he filmed videos in some crappy motel or whatever, and just drinking by himself. People drink by themselves sometimes, but it's like shots of the hard, cheap liquor. I mean, that's not really a casual thing. So, it was, and these were long rants, but he definitely had like an underlying thought process, and a lot of it had to do with the struggle of black people in America, and the fact that African Americans were shipped over here from Africa as slaves. And his perspective on it is that, basically Africans were conditioned to be domesticated. They were conditioned to be cattle, basically. And he's saying that, according to him, that black people haven't moved on beyond that, like the traits of the domesticated animal, were passed on from generation to generation or something like that. So those are his views. That's what he was saying. Um, so I can kind of like see where he's coming from with that. Throughout American history, I mean, it's been a traumatic time for black people. I mean, it's still not over really, but it's a lot better than it used to be. You know, but 400 years of slavery, generation after generation, um, being conditioned to view someone as your master. Obviously, I don't agree with that shit, but like I understand the point. Like I understand the point he's trying to make. Like this guy was not like a raving lunatic. I mean, he could have some mental issues. I mean, a lot of people in the United States do. A lot of people have mental issues of all kinds. But I don't think he's like the raving lunatic that people assumed he must be or whatever. It just didn't add up because like he has some kind of philosophy. He has some kind of logic behind his thought process. And you know, I just couldn't find the motive. I couldn't find the motive of why this old guy who in his videos criticizes young black men for committing violent crime and not knowing how to provide for themselves and produce things for themselves. That was another thing. Seemed really pro like self sustainability. Like he was saying like the family unit is really the natural way that humans should live, and like you produce everything you need out of that family, the clothes, the food, whatever. And I hate to say it, but I kind of agree with that. Like like we kind of have strayed far from our roots as far as a species. It's very unnatural to be living in cities on top of each other and all this stuff. Like humans haven't quite adapted to it yet. Um, Obviously, because we have so much conflict in the world still. But so I didn't find the motive. And then when I thought about it, okay, so this guy's 55 years old. Okay. He's overweight. He seems to drink a lot, and like the shitty liquor that'll wreck your kidney in no time or whatever, wreck your liver in no time. And he supposedly ran out of there, and like after the whole thing happened and he got away. Like how did he get away? Like he had a gas mask on or something. Like that's my thing, because in the 33rd Street station, like there's all these stairs, like it's underground. Like you gotta climb a bunch of stairs just to get up. So if I'm picturing this guy running up, I picture this guy like out of breath, like practically fainting from all the strenuous, you know, running up the stairs or whatever, trying to get away. But I mean, you know, maybe that's like a reach. I don't know. But he had a one short video, one YouTube short. It was actually the third. That was the only other video I saw. I saw two long form videos and then one short. Well, actually, I saw all his shorts because he had like three of them. But one that was interesting was a creepy one where he was just like in the subway and he's just like this, and there's like a finger in the view of the camera, and he's just like, I don't know, just filming people and just like. But then he pans down, and then you see like a cane to the left. So, you know, like I'm wondering, is that his cane? Like, did he need help walking, or is that somebody next to him? It was kind of a crowded train, so I don't know. That could be another stretch too. But I just don't believe. I find it hard to believe that this out of shape guy was able to get out of there and, you know, made it out. And you know, we got news now that he got arrested. Looks like they arrested him near St. Mark's Place. So what the, like, I mean, why would he even stay in New York City? Like, he clearly had people outside of the city, because one of the videos he was saying he was in Pennsylvania and like he was visiting people, and you know, it just didn't like did he know that people were looking for him? Like, I got so many questions. But let's read this article because I haven't really read it. So they confirmed the arrest. People were taking pictures of him, so that led to the arrest near St. Mark's Place. Bop, bop, bop. Thanked them. Basically, they just boasted that they caught this guy. But they said, to date, we have found no record of Frank R. James in connection with the shooting yesterday. Reports that FBI agents in the New Mexico field office are inaccurate. So we've got some weird stuff happening with the FBI, because supposedly they talked to him before. They interviewed him before. So who knows if he was some kind of like criminal informant or somebody on the FBI payroll. Why are we getting false reports from the FBI? They have no record of Frank R. James in connection with the shooting. So there's nothing that points to him being the shooter. There's no cameras anywhere in New York City, the freaking panopticon, where Microsoft invested, I don't know how many, like Bill Gates. I don't know if it was through Microsoft or through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but I remember them dumping tons of money into the surveillance system in New York City. Let's check it out. Bill Gates funding surveillance New York City. Or let's just take funding out, because I feel like that might throw it off. A little tip, a little bit of tips here. Okay, there's a bunch of other crap that I don't know why this comes up, but I know for sure that the NYPD was working with Microsoft or Bill Gates in some form to set up a bunch of cameras all throughout New York City. And they claimed that the 3 cameras that were in that station, 33rd Street station, were not working. And oddly enough, it looked like CBS or one of these local channels was trying to say that only 3 cameras out of all 10,000 weren't working. But like, I'm sure there's a lot of cameras. I'm sure that's the thing, because the MTA is such a disheveled, mismanaged, corrupt organization, quasi-governmental organization, that basically has New York by the balls, because the transportation system is New York City. Without that, you have no city. People can't get to work. Driving in New York City is a nightmare. And using the MTA has become a nightmare too. That's a big reason why I left. I was fed up with the fucking MTA. You know, You pay all this money and, they just let things fall to shit while they build a $2 billion station in near the rich white people or whatever. Um, so I got so many questions about this. Like I'm so I'm just so skeptical about, because we've been lied to so many times, especially in regards to live shooters or mass shooting. They those events also, they come up usually when when the Democrat Party is talking about gun control. And guess what? A day before this shooting, Biden was talking about gun control, and then this shooting happened. And then if you really look into it, a lot of these mass shooters had psychiatric problems. They had psychological problems. They were on SSRIs, like the theater shooter. Remember that guy, the guy with the Joker hair? He was on psychotic medication. Like, this is medication that is supposed to treat psychosis, and it makes you more crazy. Like suicidal and homicidal tendencies, that's a listed side effect of these types of medications. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of background. But I mean, you see that this guy already talked to the FBI. Like, just like the FBI knew about bin Laden. And, we know that bin Laden actually worked for the CIA during the Russian invasion of Afghanistan. There's just a lot of fuckery going on. And, we got a lot of criminal elements in government, a lot of these 3-letter agencies. And, it seems like, shit's falling apart, and they're just grasping at straws. They're trying to do whatever they can to take our rights away. They want to take our rights away. But I don't think that's going to work out too well for them, because more and more people are waking up. They're not getting woke, they're waking up. They're seeing that the media lies to them constantly, that they only take press releases and regurgitate them, that you can get the same exact wording of a story from whichever outlet you choose a lot of the time, because they'll just copy and paste what Reuters or AP has to say, or whatever the press release from the government, or the police department or whatever. So you can't really trust the mainstream media. You kind of have to come up with your own conclusion after doing your own research and looking at multiple sources. There's this thing called media literacy that is not being practiced and is not being encouraged. Instead, you're being told, well, just trust us because we're in charge. Trust the science. We're the experts. We're the professionals. Meanwhile, they're compromised. These motherfuckers are making a lot of money behind closed doors. Because it's a criminal enterprise. Government is a criminal enterprise. The federal government is the biggest cartel in the world. Okay? And I wouldn't put it past them to stage another false flag to push their agenda, also to distract from the whole war in Ukraine situation, and to distract from them trying to bring back COVID mandates. It's getting out of control, and it seems like, whoever's pulling the strings is scrambling to find a solution to get people in line, and people aren't having it. I know I'm not going to have it. I'm not putting up with that shit anymore. You're not going to lock me down again. You're not going to make me wear a fucking mask. Fuck you. I'm not taking no fucking jab. Fuck you. I haven't been sick once since this whole COVID shit started. And I bring it back. I bring that up because you know what? All this shit is connected, man. A lot of this shit is so you would be surprised how many things are connected. Like you ever heard of the 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon, that meme? Well, that can be applied to other things. It's not just actors, right? Like there's a lot of incestuous activity with the private sector and the government sector. NYPD Commissioner Keechant Sewell then confirmed that moments ago He was arrested. Appalling crime. One of the citizens who apparently aided. Okay. Catching the Brooklyn subway shooter. Yeah. And also, this makes Adams, was it Eric Adams, the new mayor, makes him kind of look good. Be like, hey, we found this guy. No time. We found him. We got him. But that's a whole other situation, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's a whole other situation. So I'm assuming we're gonna be finding out more details about what really happened and who is involved, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like we're going to get that information, but the news cycle will move on as it usually does before we actually get the information. So most people who actually give a shit now, they're not going to let us know what's going on until people are done giving a shit about it. And then you just got like fringe people who actually pay attention and don't have goldfish memory. They'll be the only ones still talking about it. So I don't want to, keep this going too much longer. I pretty much said what I had to say. I encourage you to try to find his videos, even though they've been scrubbed off of YouTube, these Frank James videos, just as kind of like, it's just interesting, It's interesting. Why do people watch crime shows and shit? To understand the psychology of criminals and stuff, right? And people love a mystery. Well, this is a mystery. This is a mystery to me. I don't necessarily believe that. Oh, just so happened that no cameras worked here, and even though the MTA is horribly mismanaged, like still you would think there would be at least one camera, or even outside the station. There's tons of cameras. Businesses have cameras. You got like the NYPD pole things on top of light poles. They got little cameras up there. There's cameras everywhere. They basically, the government and the police departments and these agencies, they're always caught like spying on people and stuff. Like, how many smartphones were probably pointed at the guy, obviously that would be a gross violation of our rights, but shit, that's what they're fucking doing anyway, right? But they did find a guy, so maybe they did see a camera. Maybe there's some footage from outside the station. I don't know, but this was an interesting story, which motivated me to make this video, and maybe I'll drop another video. Honestly, like, I've been more focused on trying to make money with NFTs. I've been, getting that thing going. And so if you want to support me, you can head over to OpenSea.io/B quadruple R burr brr. OpenSea.io/burr. You can follow me on Twitter, burr on chain, at B quadruple R on chain, where I'm mostly promoting NFT art and stuff like that, but sometimes I have some commentary. So yeah, I'll take care, and remember, don't believe what everybody fucking tells you. Try to think for yourself. Try some critical thinking. Come up with your own opinions. Don't wait for someone to fucking tell you what to think and how to feel. Peace.